Today we're looking at the GX-100, which is the amazing new multi-effects from Boss. Amazing new form factor and a beautiful touchscreen that's coloured.
It's touchscreen. They've finally done a user interface that I guess is a little bit easier to use than previous models have been.
Yeah, a little bit easier, but like I think it just makes it so accessible for everyone in the modern era who have iPads, phones and whatever.
We're used to that tactile, being able to change things, you know, very easily, almost remotely, I guess, with apps and things.
Yeah.
So that kind of touchscreen control is a great feature of the GX-100, and probably I would say it would be the standout feature of the product, I guess, is the simplicity of use.
Yeah.
It's got all of the usual suspects in there. It's got the 200 series overdrives are in there. It's got the 500 series modulation, reverb and delay. I won't go into that. The GX-100, the sound engine and the effects are the same as GT-1000CORE and GT-1000. Just in a slightly smaller form factor. And again, that user-friendly screen. It's so easy to get around. Like we've been toying around with it for a little while now, and it's just the ease of use is what blows me away, because with these units, you find that if you don't get into the menu and you can't do something very quickly, like within the first maybe 5 minutes, it's almost a it's almost a no deal.
Yeah.
You know, there's been units that we've dealt with over the years selling from different brands and things, and if you can't get into that menu and it doesn't feel intuitive to use, it's almost, it's a deal breaker.
Yeah, and when I'm selling multi-effects to people, I explain that to them. It doesn't matter how many sounds there are. If you can't get around the sounds and add them easily, it becomes pointless.
Exactly right. What's the point of having all of the tech if you need a pilot's manual, like a massive book or some sort of complex system to get into it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. This is so simple to use. Yeah. Even a knuckle dragger like me can use it, and that's like when it comes to multi-effects, I've been around a while. I kind of understand them. Tompa's a lot more confident with this sort of stuff and what it can do, the parameters and things. But if I can get around this, I think anyone can.
Yeah. Everyone has touch devices now. It's literally moving effects and amp blocks or anything like that is basically just pulling your finger across into the chain.
Yep.
If you want to get rid of stuff, you just drag it away. Yep. Even just changing how much effect is there, you use your finger, or you can use the.
It's still got the controls here, so it's still very tactile. Old hard heads like me, I probably prefer that side of the control, but being able to drop and drag, it's hold, drop, and drag is essentially the three functions that you need to get around it, and it's so simple to use. We'll take you through it and give you an idea of what it can do. So we're going to take you through the user interface now, the touchscreen. Tompa's going to explain features and what it does and how simple it is to use.
Yeah, so the same as some of the other GT kind of units, it basically has a couple of different displays on however you're using it, like if you're using it in editing mode or in a live performance mode. So you've got the large numbers of your presets. Basically like a name. The name.
So if you've got songs or set lists, that's the easy. That's the one I use when I use these sorts of things.
And then we've got basically a more detailed kind of layout of what each button's doing, the banks and the controllers.
Yeah. So each number relates to.
Yeah, it corresponds to that. It also has LEDs for each button, so you can change it to whatever colors you want. So if you want a yellow for an overdrive or something like that.
Like a purple for a phaser or something, And this is essentially like having a pedal board.
Yeah.
Essentially, you've set up the GX-100 like a pedal board and you can color code it that way. On the screen here, we've got the bank up and down, which is the same as these here. We've also got the numbers on the bottom here relate to patches as well.
Yeah. So if I press that, it's obviously going to go to 1, but I can actually change it on the touch screen as well.
Yeah.
and it'll change that.
And then we've got the memory manual hold button, which is, we've just discovered is a polyphonic tuner. I was going to say, if we've got a Les Paul, we could just show everyone that the G's not in tune. You like that? So from this mode, we're in sort of playing mode at the moment. If you hold the button, we've got a polyphonic color screen tuner.
Yeah.
So it tells you which string is out, and you bring it up accordingly.
But yeah, it's just a good, quick, on-the-fly kind of live tool to basically see which string's out, and then basically, if you need to tune, you can tune, or because sometimes, like in the middle, the heat of battle, as we say,
The heat of battle.
it's easy to kind of just go, just keep on playing, but like something can be completely out, so it's a really good just quick check. There's also like a kind of a stomp box kind of mode, so basically instead of presets we've now got individual kind of effects that we can turn on and off. Same kind of thing, we can do it on the buttons,
So if we...
so the vibe, but I can actually do it on the screen as well. And then the last view is basically kind of like the editing view, where you show your signal path of all your effects, all your amp types, and stuff like that. And if we go effects, we then go into being able to edit that mode.
And the editing in this thing is so simple. Like I said previously, it's pretty much a hold, drag, and that's
Drop.
it. Yeah,
Like,
drop.
Literally, it took me a minute to work out how it worked, which
And
was great.
and coming back to it, when we were talking about the user interface, it has to be easy to use off the bat. You have to be able to plug it in and at least get something out of it in the first minute to 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
If you start getting into 10 minutes, 15 minutes just to pull a sound that you're comfortable with, I think it can almost be a deal breaker for people.
Yeah, and it just takes away from playing time, and I think
Exactly
that's
right.
everyone, like, I like playing around with sounds, but sometimes I've spent 4 hours making one patch, and it's sort of just like, well, I should have been practicing or doing something else. So.
But I've got a cool patch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we'll take you through now and show you how easy it is to edit a patch. So
Yeah. So if we say like NS, which I believe is like a noise gate, if we were turning it on and off, it's basically just a tap. If we wanted to get rid of this, we'd just drag it up and it'd basically get rid of that block. Up the top here, we basically show all kind of your, you got modulations, overdrives, basically everything that the GT-1000 and 1000 Core has. To pull, like, so if I pulled a distortion down, all I have to do is drag and drop. You can drop it on top and it'll actually,
that's noisy.
yeah, get rid of the other patch. I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
Or you can actually just drop it into the chain. So if we were going to move a block, we basically hold it, drag it across, drop it in.
And put it where you want to go. So it allows so much flexibility in your signal chain.
But yeah, it makes it just really functional. So like some people that don't use lots of modulation effects, they don't actually have to have those kind of there to kind of not eat up DSP, but basically like, oh, I can't put 3 delays because I've got the modulation blocks there. So you can really configure this however you want.
And like all of the multi-effects that we deal with in the store, they can be as simple or as complex as you need them to be. So if you just want an overdrive, an amp and cab, and a reverb, you can do that. It's that simple. You can create a patch that easily with the drop and drag. If you want split signal chains with multiple reverbs and delays and things all interacting together, with tap tempos and and expression, we haven't even touched on this yet. It's as complex as you need it to be, or as simple as you need it to be, and that's what I love about this. It's really, really easy to get around.
Yeah, so it has a max of 15 blocks that you can assign in the chain, and yeah, like some will eat up a little bit more DSP than that. That's probably the only downside of like basically moving the effects around in the signal chain, is that the DSP has to basically compensate for those different things, and that's why the GT-1000 and GT-1000 Core have that set parameters, because you can basically max out every single thing and it knows what the limit's going to be.
Yeah. It's essential, I guess, and think of like DSP as like the size of your pedal board. I guess is probably the best way to put it. If you've only got a board this big, you can only put so many pedals on it before you need another board or a bigger board. So this is like a massive board, right?
Yeah.
This would be like the grande kind of the big boy.
Yeah.
So with that and being able to have 6 reverbs and an amp and all of this other stuff.
2 amps.
Oh,
yeah, it's just
Struth.
like crazy kind of.
Yeah, that's hectic.
Yeah, this is no way limiting at all.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, like if you need more than that, like
Buy 2.
yeah, run in the stereo.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a targeted demographic for this unit, being a slightly smaller than GT-1000, slightly bigger than the GT-1000 Core.
Yeah.
You've got like the Line 6 products.
Well, the Pod Go is the obvious sort of, I don't want to say target because it makes it sound a bit like a bit combative, but they've obviously seen something there and gone, you know what, we've got this entry level, we've got our flagship, the GT-1000, and then we've got the little core, the GT-1000CORE, into the GX-100.
And I think that like we find that all the time with people buying multi-effects. It's not like we get a lot of like professionals that are buying multi-effects, but a lot of it's just like dads at home.
Enthusiasts.
Yeah, enthusiasts like who want to play with sounds, who want like headphones, good quality sounds, but ease of use.
Ease of use, because again, and I was going to touch on this because this is a, excuse me, this is a something that I'm familiar with and have been for the last sort of 5, nearly 6 years. As a father myself, finding time to play at home. Usually I have to wait until the kids go to bed. So having something that it can sit on my desktop, like this is, technically it's small enough to sit on a desktop and be usable. So having the touchscreen and everything there, the ease of use means that I can plug in at home with headphones on my desktop or whatever and use it easily. So that's where things like the Core and HX Stomp and Pod Go and things like this are really, really, I guess, again, it's that gap.
Yeah.
It's that gap. And there's a lot more people like me that have that time. After the kids go to bed, you've got a little window of opportunity to play guitar. You don't want to set up big amps. You don't want to set up big elaborate rigs. This is perfect. How does the GX-100 stack up against the GT-1000?
Okay, so GT-1000, similar kind of length to the GX-100?
Yeah, similar width. The cool thing is they've obviously taken the style, like the features of it, the soft buttons, the expression pedal is very obvious that they've taken that kind of design with it. But the GT-1000 is the flagship model for Boss Multi-Effects. It has XLR outs, it's Bluetooth, it's got features that this one, they just couldn't squeeze into this unit.
Yeah. GT-1000 has fixed 24 blocks, whereas you've got 15 dynamic blocks in this. The difference in that meaning you can move anything around, you can add 6 reverbs, but only 1 reverb in the GT-1000. Which is not a deal breaker, but it's sort of like this dynamic DSP, it's just more flexible in how you can set up those effects.
Set up the signal chain.
Yeah.
This is actually a Bluetooth unit as well. So there is an app you can get for phone, or you can get for your tablet that will allow you to edit in real time. Via Bluetooth.
On the fly. GX-100 basically has a spot for the Bluetooth module that has come out with the Cube Street 2. So obviously some people might want to use the Bluetooth, some people might not. So basically, Boss is giving the flexibility there.
That is a feature of the GT-1000. It already has that, but it can...
It's just streamlined.
Yeah.
You can do it, but it's just making it like it's probably not a necessity, and some people want it and some people won't.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. The Boss is basically giving people the choice to do it.
I'm just going to touch on choice as well, because there's one thing we haven't mentioned with the GX-100 or the Core or the GT-1000, and that is impulse responses.
Yes.
You can import your own impulse responses into this. It can be done. It is really simple. And I think that a lot of these multi-effects and a lot of units in general now are starting to come with that flexibility because players want that choice.
People underestimate how much effect a cab can have.
Yep.
So, but Boss has its own cabs in there, but yeah, you can load whatever impulse responses that you're used to using. A lot of people have their ones that they've been using with their other recording rigs or something like that. And it's like, so you can take that studio sound, you can take it live, or you can use it just in the home for practice.
So for more on the GT-1000, check out our product video below. There's also another player in this as well. Yeah,
the GT-1000CORE.
So we've also got this.
GT-1000CORE. This is on a pedal board that we built for a customer. That is a very typical kind of incorporation of these smaller multi-effects.
Yeah, so stereo ins, stereo outs.
Yeah.
That's one thing with the GT-1000CORE.
Yeah.
It's a feature that it has that the others don't.
Yeah, small form factor. But this is a very typical thing with like these smaller multi-effects. Sometimes you need to get like a MIDI switcher to access like more of those effects.
Yeah.
So I know I've done that route. Bob's done that route.
Yeah.
This gives you enough flexibility to not need another extra MIDI
you
controller.
don't need to add an extra switcher to activate the functionality of the unit.
Yeah.
Which these smaller ones you kind of do if you need. And the other thing is, the other thing I will mention with this is incorporating your own stomp boxes and using them at the same time. So you touched on before using the effects loop of your unit to control particular pedals. That's what this has done as well. So it's a really key feature of these multi-effects. They're not just effects. They can actually help you with your signal and your routing and how you actually use your own external pedals as well.
Yeah, and stops the tap dance of like your standard kind of pedal board.
I guess the reason for the comparison is simply to show you that the GX-100 has its place. There is a place in the product suite for it and in the marketplace for it. You know, we've got the flagship GT-1000, we've got the stripped down pedal board friendly version, the GT-1000CORE, and then we've got this, which kind of incorporates the best of both worlds.
Yeah, smaller form factor, you still got expression, you've got enough foot switches to get around.
Correct, and the ease of use. Ease of use.
And yeah, I think it's the next step in like a color screen, ease of use. Yeah.
For more on the GT-1000CORE versus the HX Stomp, check out our video below. Which one is the right unit for you? If you want ease of use, I guess, you know, the really simple interface and simplicity in signal chain and stuff, I suggest the GX-100 is probably for you.
Yeah. And if you're going to put your multi-effects on a pedal board and you want like a very small compact form factor, maybe the GT-1000CORE.
Yeah. Or if you just want the big one.
And all the effects are Bluetooth integrated, lots of stomps.
XLR output as well, so that's great for live use. So if you're traveling, when we get to travel again and play gigs again, if you're traveling, XLR outs are a big bonus as well with the GT-1000. Thanks for tuning in. We're very excited about the Boss GX-100. It's definitely filled a gap in the marketplace, I feel, and it's going to be a great product to showcase. I can't wait to show people. It's actually really easy to use. That's the biggest takeaway from this for me, is how simple it is to get around.
And I'm just excited for the future of touch screens and color displays. Watching YouTube while you're playing a gig is a dream of mine, and This is one step closer.
I'll be watching footy.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the footy. Get KO on it or something. It'll be great. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to our friends at Boss. And if you have any questions or any comments, hit us up below. You can get us at sales@bettermusic.com.au. You can call us. You can get us on live chat on our website as well. Or come and see us. You know, the store is open. Come and see us. Yeah, we'd love to take you through the unit. Can't wait to show people. It's really exciting. Thanks, Tompa.
Thank you, Bob.
Rock on.